Welcome to What Ha Happened, the podcast where we talk about our latest chismes,
or gossip with you non-Spanish speaking folks.
crazy travel stories, hood memoirs, and food and wine.
This is an adult podcast.
So some of our topics may make our listeners a wee bit uncomfortable.
Listener discretion is advised.
And if you're of legal drinking age,
Grab a glass of wine
or a beverage of your choice and enjoy the show. For a couple of positions there. And then also, I just applied to Delta as well.
Stewardess?
For ticket agent.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Richmo.
Oh yeah, and this is Lala, and this is our podcast, What Ha Happened.
What ha happened? And what ha happening? What is happening? I guess there's a lot of stuff going on. I mean, I don't even know where to begin, but Lala's been going crazy. She's looking for a job and she's practicing like crazy because she's got a gig this weekend coming up with the Tigers of the North. And so we thought we'd get another session in before she left, because when she gets back, she might not have time to record. So here we are.
Yeah.
Wow.
Actually, we're leaving Saturday morning, but I didn't want to record Friday night because I kind of want to go to sleep early, and because we have to leave at 6:30 in the morning. So, yeah. So yeah,
those are not your hours. How are you gonna, like, what? How does one even? I guess
I could use an alarm.
Yeah, are you gonna use your phone, or do you have like a real alarm? Like, I don't know how many people actually have alarms now. Like, I guess I use the Echo, the Alexa, the Amazon Alexa. I say, Alexa, set an alarm for whatever, and it usually wakes me up to music or whatever I have it set to. But I couldn't have that turned off right now, so. But I guess you could use maybe a double alarm. Who knows? A wake up call.
Normally I'm pretty good. If I set an alarm, I do wake up, but it's just I don't like to wake up to alarms because it alarms me. It's extremely alarming.
Alarms, it's extremely alarming. Wow. I guess you're gonna be grumpy.
Who would have figured
that
that alarms would be alarming? No, it's just like I can't. Normally I have to, I usually put the settings where I have it to music, and I start off slow and then it increases gradually, because I can't have like loud sounds instantly, because I get startled. Like I can't, like if I hear the door slam shut, I'll wake up like if I'm being shot at or something, because I have so much PTSD from from drive-bys and shit, that like I can't hear loud, especially if I'm sleeping. And so, I yeah. So for the alarms,
I don't know. Yeah.
I do this.
I always set an alarm, but I always think that, like, for whatever reason, I have like this internal clock. I always wake up like an hour or a half hour before I'm actually supposed to wake up. And I'm like, shit, I didn't get all my sleep, but I'm already awake and I don't want to go back to sleep. So I just get up. So
I don't usually have a time to get up. So like, I just wake up when I wake up. Like, okay, yesterday, and see, I'll go through these days where like I'll get, and I don't know, I think my rhythm is off or something, whatever. Yeah, like the other day I slept like 12 hours, and then like last night I slept like 2 hours, bro. Like I kept waking up like every little bit, and I think it's because I've been sleeping with the windows open. It's really loud outside, so I think maybe with all the sounds and
you just think it's okay, but it's stimulating your brain.
Yeah, and I continuously get up, and it's just like fuck. But I mean, I like, because it's, at night it's like nice and fresh, so I like that, but it's so loud that it's just like fuck.
I thought it'd be okay. When I was in New York, the first place I stayed at, the first apartment I had, it was on the first floor,
Oh, you
but
did tell me about it.
it was
Yeah.
so the windows were so thin and the like I could hear the conversations of everybody. It was driving me crazy. But I got used to it after a while.
Yeah.
But even still in the morning when the delivery trucks beep, 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 and then people working outside and it's like 4 in the morning, I'm like, what the fuck? So afterwards, the second place I stayed into, I moved basically like 10 blocks away from there, but then I was on the seventh floor and then everything was airtight. So like I couldn't hear the outside.
Hmm.
It
No,
was
I
nice.
mean,
I
this
opened up the
apartment
windows and the sound just like came in,
floods
but I
in.
never got like yeah, it's just like the best sleep ever. I didn't realize how much it was how important that was to really have that
Yeah.
silence and just like nothing,
Yeah. And
you know.
actually, what I'll do is like if I really, really just was like am like, no, I'm very serious about getting some sleep, which is probably what I'll do tonight. No, not tonight, tomorrow night. Is sleep with my noise canceling headphones.
Mm.
And then I put binaural beats like at 430 some gigahertz or something for sleeping. And that shit will fucking have me out the whole night.
Oh,
So,
that
yeah.
sounds
So that's
amazing.
normally what I do if I am like if I've gone several days without sleeping. And it's weird because I don't drink coffee anymore. I don't So it's not that I'm drinking coffee and having caffeine. It's like I don't I don't know. No idea. But
Good.
yeah, sometimes I sleep 12 hours and sometimes I sleep 2. So like last night, I slept
Amazing.
literally 2 hours and I just was like, uh and like
Maybe you catch up tonight.
yeah, I'm hoping that and then like my arm was hurting and I think because I was on the computer for so long, like my arm started hurting and I was like, fuck this. And even after I took like a pain medicine, chingadera, like I still stayed up. Like I was like, oh my God, you would have think like this would have been sufficient. So then I'm like,
Right,
okay,
right.
maybe I'll get into the rhythm of taking like melatonin again, like but you're not supposed to take it like for long periods of time. So unless I'm really like I feel like maybe my anxiety, I don't know. But I'm on anxiety meds. I shouldn't, I don't know.
Mix those things up. Yeah, sometimes they say some of those things you shouldn't mix up, but I wouldn't know anything about
No, I
that.
mean, you would think that I wouldn't have anxiety since I'm on anxiety meds.
Yeah,
That's why I'm
yeah,
like,
it's
oh my
slipping
God.
through. Some of that anxiety is like slipping through. It's like a
Yeah,
different. It's a different
it's
strain of
it's
anxiety.
yeah, it's not blocking it 100%.
Oh my.
I don't know. I feel like my brain is just like really overstimulated. I think it's stress. Like I'm really stressed out because of well, finally they approved my EDD. So I'm gonna get back paid from the time that I got laid off up until now. But meanwhile, I was just like stressing out because I was paying bills today. And like luckily they forward me my check. So I'm like, oh, I got a check. But so I can deposit that. But I think it's just because in my mind I'm continuously like going through all this like fuck, okay, what do I need to pay first, and like da 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 da, and like how am I gonna do this, and like what about money, and then like you know what I mean, it's just like, and I
Mm-hmm.
think it's because I'm playing that over and over in my head. It just like I can't sleep, like I can't fucking sleep, and you know how much I
Oh my
love
years.
sleeping.
Yeah, no, you're starting to sound like me. I'm not saying anything, but like I get that way. Like even now with all the strikes, there's no work, and the little work that I had was, it's all dried up, and now it's just like, okay, I'm gonna take a breath. I'm gonna see if there's anything out there, but if there isn't, like, yeah, well, like where the fuck it? Like my plan is to be an Uber driver or whatever, but whatever it is to do, it's like I gotta do whatever it is I gotta do to make ends meet if that's what it comes down to, because unfortunately, if they don't like resolve like the writers' strike and the actors' strike, I mean, those corporations, like Netflix, Amazon, Warner's, or Paramount, any of the streaming sites that they have, they're still releasing movies. They're still releasing television shows. So if they're doing that and they're still releasing movies, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take before they run out. And my guess is that they're never going to run out because there's always independent producers, always independent filmmakers making product for them. So in a way, they really never have to agree to anything, and they'll just keep going. And then the people who are in the unions and the people that are actually suffering and now starting to lose their apartments and their houses and their cars, and it's like it's coming up on 5 months now. It's going to
Has it
start
been
affecting
that long
people.
already? Holy crap.
Yeah, it's coming
Wow.
up. Yeah, it's like two strikes. It's the writers and then the actors.
Mhm.
So but it's coming up on a little bit, and so it's kind of, I'm a little preoccupied. I mean, I think last time there was a writer strike, I was in the middle of something, and they kind of fixed it before anything happened, before anything was too severe. So the show went on. But this time it's taking a little long. It feels like it's gonna they're in it for the long haul. When you hear all the executives and the kind of rumblings, it sounds like let's fuck everybody over until they come to the table and then they'll have to take a deal, kind of. And
Oh wow.
they've
So it
said as
is like a
much.
power grab
Yeah,
basically.
it's a power play. Yeah, but that's what it sounds. I mean, I really don't know what's going. Like, who knows what goes on behind closed doors? But I mean, if you're making hundreds of millions of dollars a year, you think you're gonna worry about 1 or 2 years? You probably don't have to worry about any of it. For all you care, everybody can burn. But it's not just the people. It's not just the people in the industry, which makes a big part of Los Angeles or a good part of it, but it's all the infrastructure and everybody else that belongs to that industry. It's the cleaners, the people that it's just like all the money we spend in all the places, the
Mhm.
stores, the restaurants, and whatever. Money flows, and if that's stopping, it's stopping. So it hurts everybody in a strange way. It's a big domino effect, and yeah, I feel that pain. I feel that pain more than you think. And, I hear it from other people too, because I get calls, people asking me, you get the calls like, hey, if you hear of anything, I'm looking for something, or if you hear of anything, I'm looking for something. And, everybody's calling with the same thing. And it's kind of alarming. It's like, yeah, this is more than usual. Like usually get a call or two like during the year, or, maybe a few calls, but you're working and things are happening, and
Mhm.
sure enough you can find something for some of those people, but this time around there's like nothing starting, so nothing to be had at the moment. So
Yowzas.
I was going to ask Lala for the next show. I wanted to share some of her artwork, but we could talk about that for the next show. A lot
Oh
of you don't
yeah.
know that Lala takes a lot of photos and stuff of all the places she's been, and I think right now, like maybe for the next show, maybe we could kind of showcase that. I mean, I hate to call you out on the show, but
I know.
I
I'm
mean,
like,
it's
oh,
gotta happen. It's gonna happen
I have
sometime.
to get them
So,
together. But yeah, no, I mean, what I can do, and mostly the photography that I do is like nature. So like I have a lot of photography like for like pictures of bears. When I was working up
bears.
in Alaska, whales. I have tons of pictures of whales, orcas, humpbacks.
Look at her
Um,
photo behind her, folks. It's the ocean. If you
oh
guys
well,
are
that one
watching this on
I didn't
Spotify,
paint that.
you shouldn't paint it, but it
Ladina.
is the ocean.
It is the
Ladina.
ocean. Ladina. Shout outs to Ladina, who doesn't listen to us, but whatever. In Costa Rica from Casa de Arte. She
Hmm.
made this piece specifically for me because I told her I wanted her to dedicate a painting, just like for me, like how she thinks of me or what she feels. And so this is what it was. And she said it's like the flow, like it's either a
It's a free
dancer
spirit.
if you stand it like vertical, then it's like a dancer with, like movement. But if you put it horizontally, like it is right now, then it's like the ocean and the waves, like which is still the movement. There's like I don't know, like calisthenics or something. I don't just something that's very flowy. And so that's
Mm.
what I guess her is just like, that's how she
That's who
sees
you
me.
are.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's how
that's
she
how you
sees
are. I
me.
flow and I turn and I swim and I'm in the ocean. And
And
Lala's a
I
mermaid
dance and
and
I
and
this and I
and
that.
orca in the future life sometime.
Yes, I want to be an orca. I want to find out how
So
the hell they freaking like get together without sonar when they're going through like glacier water because it's very murky, and they do like collaborated attacks without using sonar because that means that it'll alert the animals that they're
all the other
trying to
fish.
eat. And so it's just like, huh. And these are just
Are
the
you saying
transient
like
orcas.
there's like a orca party? They're like, all right, guys, we're gonna plan an attack tomorrow at 7
Yes,
a.m. We
yes.
think we have a scout. We know there's a thing of
I mean,
anchovies
do
coming
they
our
do
way or
like
tuna.
one flap for go, two flaps no?
Yeah, yeah. A tail now. Can you imagine?
A little wink.
Go. Wink. All right, folks, let's go. I mean, there's so much to be said about the orcas and their tactics, and
Oh my
it's a
God,
big
they're
orca party.
so intelligent. I love orcas so much.
I mean, they probably have flying saucers we don't know about. Who knows? Who knows?
Flying saucers?
I mean, like they're spaceships.
The
They're aliens.
orcas have spaceships?
Yes, orcas have spaceships. No, orcas don't. I mean, maybe they do. There's a conspiracy. I heard that orcas fly around in the water like spaceships. No, that's a joke. No, it's not even funny. They're so smart they could have spaceships.
Oh, that okay. Oh my God.
I know. It's one of my things. Don't listen to me, folks.
Wah,
It makes no
wah,
sense at
wah.
all.
Where's my like fucking
Sad
sad
trombone
trombone?
soundboard. One day
Yes,
we'll
I
have a
need
soundboard
one.
for you to like
I really want that
that.
one.
We'll make it happen. We'll make sure we have a sad trombone soundboard
And
sometime soon.
also the burr, 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 like
Burr, 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 the horns, air horns.
the
Yeah,
hype up, whatever.
yeah. Hype up air horns.
Mhm.
So that's gonna be your weekend. My weekend, I don't know. I mean, somebody invited me to go see The Nun. There's this new like scary. It's a horror movie about a nun. I'm like, why the? I forgot. First of all, I don't like to watch scary movies. Second of all, I go, as a person, so are you Catholic? Because the nun's a Catholic, right? So I asked this person if they were Catholic, and they said they're not Catholic. And I'm like, oh, but because it's still scary. It's like, yeah, I guess. I wonder if it's more scarier for Catholics to see like an evil nun than it is for a normal person, or if just evil nuns are just scary in general, you know? Because you see evil nuns like or sexy nuns like during Halloween, right? I mean, I think we talked about like this whole nun thing at one point, but like a evil nun, like killing kids and killing people, I would be frightened. I suppose. Would you be frightened? Let
I
me just
mean,
say,
anything evil, I think I would be frightened. It could be
you
a
know,
evil mouse. I would still be frightened because it's evil.
walked up to you. It's like, I'm an evil mouse. Well, how do I know you're not evil? Well, let me eat your cheese, and we'll see
Back to
what's
that
up.
mouse.
Back to that mouse. Oh man, that mouse.
I recently saw a movie that's called The Nun, but it was like on TV, like it's on like HBO or something.
Yeah, that well, this is part none, part two.
Oh,
And so when
got
I
it.
looked at it, I was like, oh, this is part two of the part one, which I didn't see because I don't
Oh,
watch
I
those kinds of
recently
movies.
just saw it, part
Oh
one,
my star.
and
Part
I
one.
watched it with Ozzy. I was like, so because he came over one weekend, like a few weekends ago, and we were just like, just cooking and chilling, and I was like, so we're gonna watch a movie. Put that movie, and I was like, I've been waiting for someone to watch it with me because I get all jumpy and scared. I was just like, ah. So
Let's watch the
I
nun.
forced him to watch The Nun with me.
Did you get scared? Was it scary? Is
Well,
it
there's
everything
some
that it's up to?
things that are startling. Like, remember I
Yeah,
told
the
you, like,
jump
so,
scares. Yeah,
yeah,
they
the
do
jump
jump
scares.
scares.
Those are, like, those are the ones that I have to like
Yeah.
cover my mouth because
I
like
mean, but
I'll
you know
scream.
what it is? What I hate about
It's the
it's like
thrill,
they're coming. But you know they're coming. You know it's gonna happen. They always
but
set
you
it
don't
up
know
for the
when.
you just
It's
don't know
the
when. And then when it happens,
surprise.
it's still scary. It's just like,
It's the
I know it's coming.
surprise.
Oh God. Yeah, so the Nun 2 is out this weekend. And
Oh,
I was like, I don't, maybe I guess maybe I should watch Nun number one. But now I'm not like I haven't even seen Nun number one, or so I don't know if that makes any sense. It probably stands on its own. I mean, scary
it
nuns
ties
doing
into
scary things.
another series of movies like The Conjuring. So it ties into those movies too. I don't know if you've seen them, but
If you've ever seen those, no, I don't think
I
so. And
have
if I
because
have, I probably brocked them out of my head. I mean, I have seen some of those scary movies or certain things, certain movies I do like, but like it's just like I don't make a habit of, ooh, there's a scary movie. I'm gonna go to the rush to the theater and watch that. And then if it's playing at home, I just skip it. But I gotta admit, there was one time, it was many years ago. Um, they were playing midnight screenings of The Exorcist. This has got to be 10 plus years. Midnight screenings of The Exorcist, the original movie. And of course, I wanted to see it at the midnight show. And so I went by myself. I went and saw the original movie, The Exorcist, at a midnight screening with a whole bunch of other people that were there. And it was like sold out. And we watched The Exorcist and we all got scared and we all freaked out. And then I started walking back to my car and I was like, why did I do that? Why did I want to scare myself so much? Why, like, because I was always afraid of that movie, even as a kid watching it. And then now to see it at a midnight screen, it's like, oh, this can't be too bad watching it with a group of people. It was still frightening. Just the prospect of something supernatural coming at you, like a demon.
mm.
So I guess that never gets
And
old.
see, and that's another question that I brought up when we were watching The Nun. Is like, do only Catholics get taken over then? Because like if you don't
Yes.
know about the religion, what about the people who live out in fucking Australia, the Aborigine, who don't, like, say you don't even know about Catholic
Yeah, they,
religion?
they can't get
How
possessed about demons because
can
they
you
don't even know about them.
yeah, and so can you only be possessed if you
Huh.
know about that? Or
Wow, that's a
can
really good point. Hey, any
that
priests out there or anything? Can you please answer that question? Can
like
anybody be
how does
possessed, or
that
do you have to
work?
be Catholic to be possessed? Oh my stars. That's a
Because
really
how
big.
can you be possessed if you don't know about it? Like, for
That's right.
example, me, like, how can something happen about something I don't know? Like, how is it going to manifest in my head if it, you know, or do they take over people who aren't Catholic as well?
Oh,
And then they just go misdiagnosed and just are possessed. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Are
I
people
don't
who
know.
aren't not are non-cat do non-Catholics get possessed too? I mean, because I'm thinking if you got to believe in like Satan, then you got to believe in the God, and you got to believe in all those
Right.
mysterious things that come with that.
With the
All
package. It's
that
a package deal.
with the pack. It's a package deal because it's scary nuns, demons, and every
If you
angels,
believe in one, you gotta believe in all of
you
them.
know, it's a whole kit and caboodle, folks. They're not going to discriminate, and we are heading up on October, so a lot of evil things and bumpy things that go bump, bump, bump in the night will start to come out. All the creepy
The
creeps,
freaks
and
come out at night.
that's right,
The freaks come out at night.
the freaks do, and yeah, it's going to be. I guess this is the time. I guess the Nun number two. Nun 2 is going to start the season of all the horror movies that leads into Halloween. That's people want to be scared. And this is like Fright Night and all the Halloween things that the Universal City Walk and wherever you can get scared will start, at the end
Yeah. I used to love going to
August.
those when I was a teenager, and now I'm just kind of like, meh. I don't know.
Eh,
I
they
become
don't scare
such
me
a
that much.
hermit. Yeah, I mean, it's just because I already know. And then it's just
I mean,
kind of
I've
like
just seen a vampire, a Frankenstein, a lot like a creature of the Black
you've seen
Lagoon,
them all,
whatever.
you know. Oh my God, I just bought some like garlic bread, like but Italian because it's like really thin. It's kind of like a little pizza, but mini with a shrimp. It's like frozen.
Shrimps. Mmm.
I'm like just
So it's
thinking
like
about it right now.
a
But
shrimp
I also
pizza
have
without
steak.
being a pizza.
So I made this steak, you know, the one that you got for me for when I thought I had COVID. I cooked
Mm,
it with jerk sauce, like
mm,
Jamaican jerk sauce. And
spicy.
then yes, and then I well added, you know, red onions, tomatoes, and then added a little bit of sherry, you know, because sherry
Mm,
is like sweet. So I added like a little
mm.
sweet, spicy. So good.
Yeah, I was thinking about you yesterday too, because I did the whole sacrilegious thing to cows because I make my sister brought me some milanesa, like a couple pounds of milanesa, so I cut it up, but I put it in a wok and I cooked it with like garlic, onion powder, and curry powder and the Indian spices. And then I started to realize again that like, they don't eat cows. They don't eat cows in India, right? Because there's their things. And I'm like, I'm bathing this meat and all these spices that are probably meant for chicken and everything else, anything but a cow, and then anything but a cow. But I gotta say, that was delicious. I mean, I cut up some potatoes. I made some potatoes and softened them up, and then I tossed it in with the meat, and it's kind of like this meat and potatoes curry thing, and with a little bit of rice. And damn, that was a hit. It was a hit with my son and his friend and everybody that was here. It was just like it was gone really fast, and I was like, that was good because the curry and all that's it's got like this slow burn. It's not really outright spicy, but after you eat it, you're like sweating. You're like, wow, that's that internal heat that you like so much. But I was like, man, if I did this, like I could never do this in front of like an Indian, like from India. I was like, they probably hit me over the head. Like it's cow. It's I'm not supposed to do that. I mean, I know they don't eat their cows. I don't know, like I don't know what would happen if you ate like that. Probably doesn't happen in India. I don't know if there's a law
Question.
against hitting
Um,
eating a cow.
but damn, that sounded so good. You know what also I've been craving is Ethiopian food. I love Ethiopian.
Yeah, I haven't had that in a minute.
Oh my
That's been a
God.
minute.
And I'm not too far from little Ethiopia over here. So I'm like,
Yeah.
ooh, I might just
It's
order.
who wants to, because Heather keeps talking about Ethiopia because, you
Oh
know,
yeah.
uh so it's not expensive to go to Ethiopia. And she's all like, you'd be surprised. Like, there's a lot of great in Ethiopia. She talks about, and I was like, but, she's talking about Ethiopian food and this and that. And I'm like, oh, maybe we'll all dine or
So
something.
good. It is, and especially that spongy bread
The
tortilla
bread,
thing.
that their tortilla, yeah, that's
Yeah,
like
it's
a
like,
crepe.
oh,
It's like a crepe, right? But
yeah,
it's
it's like a
spongy
brown
soft.
crepe, a
Oh man,
brown fluffy
I
crepe,
don't know. I
a
attempted to make
really
pancakes
super
the other day.
large.
I attempted to make pancakes, and I think I put too much water in my mix or something because I my sister brought me a mix, and I stirred it with a hand mixer, a hand blender, and maybe I overmixed it. But when I started, I was like, I'm gonna have some pancakes. The pancakes, they never rose. It was like crepes. I was like, what is this? I make
Oh,
crepes. I was like,
is it the premix pancake?
mm-hmm.
That should already have
Yeah, it
what is
should
it?
rise.
Levadura.
Yeah,
You know, you add levadura. Okay, so I tried to make a pancake in when I was in Berlin. And I mean, I think I've shared this story before, but I don't know how to make pancakes, you know, like I don't eat pancakes. I don't know how to make
you're
them.
not a
And
baker. You're
and
not a
then
baker. What are you
well,
saying? Yeah.
no, I don't eat
I
pancakes.
mean,
So I don't know how to make them because I don't
I
eat
thought it
them.
was like safe going, pre-mixed, add
No,
water,
but I had to
stir.
do it from scratch, like flour
Ah,
and the egg and the oil. And then I'm like, I think this is it. And so like the guy was just like, here, you know how to make pancakes? Because he's like, you know, he's in Berlin and he's from Venezuela, so you didn't. Anyway, I forgot that you have to add levadura. How do you say that in English?
That is called yeast.
Yeast. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes, to make it
So-
rise. Yes.
I was like, well, I said close enough. These are crepes.
I
Yeah,
mean, you still get this. Yeah. Yeah. Well,
yeah. Say
when I thought I was eating
close
pancakes, I'm
enough.
like, no, they're more like crepes. It's close enough. It's dough. It's spongy. I was just like, and I cooked it long enough. I guess maybe you're not, because you said do not mix, don't overmix it, and I might have overmixed it. So maybe the heat
Oh,
like messed up the yeast or
maybe.
something, but it just over. Yeah, I kind of overdid it,
Like I
but
said, I don't make
uh,
pancakes. So I
yeah.
don't
But
know.
then that's like they're crepes. I
Make
mean,
pancakes.
one of my favorite things to eat is very simple. It's like a tortilla de harina with honey and butter as a dessert.
Mm.
And that's just a flour tortilla with honey and butter, tortilla de harina. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And that's one of my favorite childhood things. And I still like it now, even now. It's just like it's really simple, nice dessert.
Kind of like
And
my condiment sandwich.
well, I mean, if you guys ever try that, it's not bad at all. And it's kind of like really filling and it's very simple. And it just brings me back to being a kid. Well, because it is something really easy to make as a kid. I mean, you think about if you want something sweet and you have honey and butter, heat up a flour tortilla and then
Oh,
just a little bit
you know
of
what I
butter
used
and
to
honey.
do? I used to put butter and then coat it with sugar and then toast it on one side, put butter on it, then sprinkle sugar on it and then put it on the other side and then it'll just like melt. Oh, that I used to love doing that.
Oh, you know what? There used to be a bakery here. It's no longer here. There used to be a bakery here. They used to make these scones. It was a Mexican bakery, but I don't know where this guy was from. But the coating for those was butter and sugar. It was very simple, butter and
Mhm.
sugar. It was like a butter and sugar mixture, and then they just like, put it on there, and it was just like covered with butter and sugar. So you look at these like pan dulces, and they're like these scones, and it's just covered with butter and sugar. Very simple, but when you're eating it, it was just like a perfect mixture of butter and sugar and the
And
bread,
bread.
and
Mhm.
it's just so delicious. Oh,
It makes me
I mean,
think of the scones when I was working in Victoria, Canada. There's this bakery there. And you know me, I'm not really a sweets person, but oh my God, I have never eaten scones that delicious. Like,
was it a savory scone or just kind of like
no, 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 it
neutral
was a
or
sweet scone. And
oh,
yeah, it was like
ooh,
a,
something
yeah,
caught your attention.
yeah. And I was
I'm
just like
what bake where was this?
in
What's the name of the bakery?
Victoria, I have it in my maps somewhere,
Yeah, we got to figure
but
out what that was. I'm curious
it's
to
it
find out what did it for you.
they're known for their scones, but they're not like the scones that you eat here. They're hard or whatever. These are like fluffy for some reason. I don't know. I was just like, holy crap, I've never eaten a scone like this. But like that they're really famous in Victoria, that bakery. Like everybody knows that bakery because
Oh wow.
they're just so
There was
known.
yeah, like there was a you know what there was like a freaking when I was in New York earlier this year, there was a bakery that sold chocolate chip cookies. They were famous for chocolate chip cookies. And basically, somebody brought me one. I'm like, what is this? It's a chocolate chip cookie. And to me, it just looked like a scone packed with like, you know, chocolate chips. I'm like, that's a scone. That's not a chocolate chip cookie. They're like, no, it's a chocolate chip cookie. I bit into it and it had a consistency of a hard scone with chocolate chips in it. I'm like, this is like a scone with chocolate chips in it, but you're calling it a chocolate chip cookie, I guess. And I couldn't get over it,
Mm.
but I don't know.
Yeah, no,
I'm
this
just
this
curious when you
was a
said fluffy
scone.
and
Yeah, but and
delicious.
it was like you know, normally you think scones are hard, they're, not all of them are great, but this one was like I don't want to say
Not all of them are
fluffy,
great.
but it wasn't
There's
it,
scones I don't like. There's scones I like, and there's scones I don't like.
it
This
just
was
I
one
was
I
like,
liked.
wow, wow. Was wow,
And so
wow.
just so you guys all know, Lala doesn't like sweets very much. So that's why I'm curious about what the bakery
Yeah.
is, what they did. I mean, there's got to be some secret sauce in there. Who knows? Maybe we might order some from Victoria, Canada, and have it shipped internationally,
Oh,
just as a thing. Who knows? Who knows? You
yes.
never
Or
know.
we could just take a cruise
You never
on
know
that
too. You
same
never know what the
cruise that
world.
I used to do.
You never know how the world changes and turns. You never know.
That's true. I mean, I may get this Delta job
Look us up with some
or
tickets, yo.
not. I know, dude, the buddy passes. That's where it's at. And then like, you
Then we'll
can
have to
fly.
get like a we have to get like a Delta credit card and start racking up miles on it.
I used to have one. It was an American Express, but I cut it
Mm.
out because I didn't use it that much. Crust Bakery. No, it's not this one. Sorry, I'm
She's
trying to
looking
find
into
it.
all the baker. She's trying to find the bakery.
The
It's like,
bakery.
well, the bakery. It's not any bakery. It's the bakery. It's the
Well,
place.
there's a way you
Yeah,
can see in your timeline, like, like where you've been at.
I've been everywhere.
But yeah, no, it's like, dude, I love that little town of Victoria. Like, it's such a cool little, like, they
Wait,
have such a
where
really,
exactly in Canada is it? Like, is that above like uh, what
it's
is it?
like, it's the first,
Is it
so
the island?
when you're on a boat, that's where you go and get your stuff checked before you go up north to Vancouver.
Mm.
It's literally right next to the San Juan Islands and
Oh, is
like
it an
literally
island? Stop.
it's the San Juan Islands and then you go right across into Victoria. That's where you get all the ships get their paperwork checked out before you
Mm,
start
mm.
heading up north. And that's if you're gonna, be at port, If you're gonna be at anchor, I don't think you have to, but if you're gonna go.
For all those nautical folks out there, you know what she's talking about.
Or did it not make sense?
Mm, these are all like boating terms. So, I mean, not that many. It's like the people that fly in planes all the time. There's people that are on yachts and boats all
Oh,
the time.
got it.
It's
I see
just
what you
like,
mean. Yeah, yeah. It's like the
yeah,
jargon, the
yeah.
boat jargon.
It's a different language. Lala speaking in boat language, but that's okay. We'll
Oh
find
my
out. We're
God.
gonna have like a cheat sheet for everybody.
They
What's
also
up?
have a like a tiny museum there too, where everything is tiny. Like they have like all these like houses, they make cities that are just tiny. Like it's just I went insane because I love like I don't
Tiny
know
things.
collecting like tiny furniture, tiny like just I don't know why.
Yeah, it makes sense in a tiny town to have a tiny museum. Think about that. I
It's
mean,
a
how many
tiny
how many
museum.
people in the town? How much would
Victoria
you
is a
say?
large city.
You know? I'm
Yeah,
gonna
it's a
look it
large
up.
city.
I don't know. It's like City of Victoria.
But yeah, fun times. So we would have like, just a couple of hours. So we would go to the bakery or I would go to the museum on my time off. Um, or just walk around. They would always have parades. Like it's very much a tourist attraction place. So it's got a lot going on.
Oh yeah, they got like all the yeah, Victoria, they got all the boat, the ferries that go back and forth from Victoria to
Hmm.
Seattle or
Yeah.
wherever,
We
right?
we got on the little water
Yeah, that's what I thought.
taxis and then like they
Yeah.
took us on it. And I'm like, I know it's dumb because like I'm doing a tour on a boat and then I
And
take a
you're
water
actually touring
taxi on another
for
boat.
your own you're doing your own tour.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
But like
amazing.
I would always go into Chinatown because it's not too far if you like walk a little bit. And
Mm.
it's got like a lot of cool little shops and just like I don't know. There's this umbrella shop. I bought
I'm
this
an
like
umbrella
Mary
shop.
Poppins umbrella. Like it's like a big old like
Of
with the
course, because it rains so
ruffles.
much there, right?
Yeah. But I loved it. Like it's so I don't know. It's just like they have a lot of like quirky little things, you know?
Right, right.
Um anyway, yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was in uh what is it? Vancouver for a while. I was in Vancouver for a few months on a show, on a job a long time ago, and I really enjoyed being there. I remember going to their Chinatown, walking around town, but I do remember it did rain a lot. Like it drizzled, it just rained most of the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time. And you just got used to it, and everybody would just walk around in the rain. Like, oh, some people had
Well,
umbrellas, and just kind
you
of, eh,
know, when
you're gonna get wet.
I was always wearing my rain boots. Like in Alaska, everybody just wears rain boots all the fucking time. Like that is just your
That's a
normal,
style.
that is just what you need because it's always raining. So you're walking through mud, you're slushing things. Like you need rain boots. Like
Did they have like fancy rain boot, like Gucci rain boots and shit?
I'm
Were there
pretty
people
sure
that
they
like kind of like that?
do. But I've had the same boots since when I worked at animal control.
Mm, no,
That's
I
the
would have
same
just
of
bought some fishing boots. I mean, maybe I guess they're the same. They're
that's the
water
same.
boots.
Yeah, it's the same.
They're brown with a
Mm-hmm.
little beige.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Shimano's.
That's what everybody wears out in Alaska.
Yeah,
Mine are
Shimano's.
black because I've literally had mine since animal control days. Like that's how long I've had them. That's like 20 years. But
They're
my
probably really
boots are
comfortable.
still they're still going strong and they're like, "Oh yeah, these are better." I'm like, "Bitch, I've had these for 20 years." I'm like, "Let me
And
tell
then
you."
let me
And they
tell you
look
how good these are.
yeah, like they're still kicking.
And they're black, so they probably fit with everything. Like you could probably like
Well,
any
yeah, because
outfit.
our uniform is all black. So we have to wear everything
Oh,
black.
nice,
All
nice.
black.
Oh, black, like in New Zealand. It's the team.
Oh my God. Speaking of New Zealand,
What happened?
let's see. There was a bird that they thought was extinct and they
Wait, so what are you saying? There was an animal that was extinct that they found in New Zealand?
yeah, a bird that they thought was extinct, they found it again. Like it
Oh,
had
wow.
they thought it had been extinct since like the 40s or something or
Oh,
20s
wow.
or
That's amazing.
mm-hmm.
Like I thought I read the same an article like that, and at first it showed a picture of a dodo bird because they were extinct, and then I clicked on it and I started reading, and then it turned out to be a mammal of some other thing. But they got me. I was like, oh, there's a dodo back. Is the dodo back? And I don't know
That's
if
what I thought
that's the same.
first, but no, it's called something else. It's a different bird. I
Oh,
forgot what it's
well, yours
called.
was a bird, mine was a mammal. So I was like, man, they got me. I thought it was clickbait. I was like, I was like, yeah, I'm interested in a dodo bird. Like, yeah, why not? Let me click on that. Like that, they got me. If anything, they got me because they did get me. They did get me with that picture. So, you know,
I bet a
they
lot
got
of
my
people.
demographic. Yeah, like I mean, that would be pretty amazing if they brought a dodo bird back, but I don't know what purpose it would serve at this point,
No, they
right?
didn't bring it back. They found one.
Oh yeah,
Like,
they found it. Yeah.
yeah, like they thought it was extinct and then they found one. I was like, oh, we thought you didn't exist. And here you are.
And here you are. Are you the only one? Oh, it reminds me of that sad story about like there's this like tortoise that was by itself that read a long time ago. It's like a really like a Galapagos tortoise or turtle, and it was all by itself, and they didn't find he didn't have a mate, and that
Oh,
was it. He was the last
pobrecito.
one. Yeah, he was the last
Oh
one.
no.
I wonder what's up with that.
Okay, so I found the
Uh,
place. It's called Murchie's Fine Tea and Coffee, Victoria. Murchie's. Shout outs to Murchie's out in Victoria.
oh wow, they got dresses and cakes and all kinds of stuff.
Dude, this place is kicking. Like it's like all your teen needs,
Look at
bro.
all that teas.
All your
Wow,
teen
look at it.
needs. Look at the los
Oh,
postres. It's I mean, but it's
it's
not like
crazy.
sweet, sweet. It's like it's delicate. Like their flavor is delicate.
Yeah, it's not
It's how
overdone. Yeah, it's probably how it should be done. You know, with a nice balance of like fucking
everything, salt
of
and
everything.
sugar.
It should complement your teas and rather than be overpowering. You know, it's just like
Yes,
yeah.
exactly. But no, this was our spot. So we would go there and then
So you
get their Wi-Fi because that's the only time that we have to connect with the world. And then
okay.
I would check my messages, try to reply to as much as I could, eat my pastry, have my tea,
That's
and
amazing.
then like run back to the boat
Run
and
back
then
to the boat.
welcome guests back
Merchies.
in with the beverage. Like, hi, welcome back. We've been here waiting for you
Oh,
this whole time.
like where you been? Oh, Merchies. We're gonna check that out. I mean, it's not far. I mean, it's not far fetched.
No,
Like Seattle's only what, like 10 hours away. You drive to Seattle, you get on a ferry, you be there within a day. I mean,
yeah, literally.
we live on the West Coast, but so I think within one day of car travel, you can be at Murchie's, enjoying a scone and a cup of tea, and then drive back
Quite
just
a bit
because.
far just for that, but yes.
But it's possible. I'm not saying it's not possible. I'm just saying that it's a possibility. Anything's a possibility if you just want to make it a possibility.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
I'm
see
thinking,
if you zoom out, see how like close it is to the San Juan Island. So literally
yes.
you just go like boop because when we would do like the PNW tours, we would go to these islands and then I would
What's a
visit because
PMW? Is that a
Pacific
porpoise
Northwest.
marine? Oh,
Yeah, so
see, I
we
was
would
going somewhere else. Pacific Northwest.
Pacific
It's like
Northwest is just
a
this
porpoise, a
area.
narwhal, and a whale. I mean, what?
They all
What
walk
kind
into
of
a
tours are you
bar.
running? They all walk in the bar, and then what?
No, like
Exactly. Then they use
I have a
sonar.
friend who lives in Orcas. So when we would then stop at Orcas and I'd be like, "Oh, I'm gonna take the small boat," and I would go visit her. Uh, just like
Orcas.
Orcas Island.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
right
not.
next.
Well, you're speaking about these things like the whole world knows. Tell us about Orca Island. I'm like, is there? I
Oh,
had
it's just
no
their
idea.
island.
It's just
It's
an
just
island
part.
called Orcas.
Well,
Is there a reason it's called
it's a whole
Orcas?
chain of islands that are right there. This is what we're calling the Pacific North. No,
Northwest.
yes, it's because it's just like there's just a shit ton of islands around there. So
So
we
this
would
is on. So
when we would do the Pacific Northwest tours, this is the area that we would stay. So we would go to some islands, but only the islands right there that are right next to the San Juan Islands, and then the ones that are in the side of the Canada.
mm,
And then take
so
people like there's an island that there's only goats. So there's
oh my,
just
for the
goats,
pirates, for like just in
just
case you get
goats. And
shipwrecked.
then like
There's
these
the
goats,
island with the goats. Let's
they
eat.
have so much long fur because nobody trims them and stuff. And it's just like, oh my God, it's so
Like
crazy.
Billy Goat's Gruff.
They're so cute.
It's
You
like
know me. I
a
love goats. I love me some goats.
giant. Yeah, you love some goat birria too. Goat curry.
Hmm.
Mm, that sounds delicious. Um,
Yeah, so we
so
would go to
this is
like,
all above Seattle, folks. You can go to Seattle and then you can probably reach all these islands on the West Coast, Seattle, Washington, which is the
well,
last
Seattle is
state
actually south. Yeah, so this is north of Seattle.
north of Seattle. Yeah.
It's off of like Bellingham area.
Hmm. I've gone to Bellingham. That was at one little town where there was when I was working in Vancouver, there was only one town that has Wells Fargo. So they paid me checks. And since I wasn't gonna fly to Los Angeles, I would like wait till I had like four checks and then I would drive to Bellingham to the one Wells Fargo in the whole
Oh
area,
my God, you
deposit it,
kidding
go to
me?
a go to a Mexican restaurant, eat, and then drive back
Oh my
to
God, that
Vancouver.
is
It was like a
insane. And it's so funny because like in Vancouver, like they don't really have good Mexican food. Like I went
no.
out there and I was just like, my friend was like, "Here, I have all these ingredients. Can you make us guacamole?" Like I flew in and like they had like a little house party, to welcome me and my son.
Here's Lala. She's Mexican. Let's have tacos. She can make
She
tacos for us. Oh
they
man,
did
what did you do? What was your reaction? Like, what do I look like, a burrito to you? What do you think? I just sling
a
tacos my whole
walking
life?
taco maker apparently.
Can you make us fresh handmade tortillas? We know you're Mexican. Here's the corn. Well, I mean, sometimes I guess it can get that way. I mean,
And
I
so
can't
it was
blame
like,
people that people get excited.
well,
I mean,
because like, he had came to stay at my house because it was through couch surfing. And so I took him to like really good Mexican spots and he was like, oh my God. Like his mind was just so blown away because they don't have anything that good there. And so when I
that was
came
just
over, they had literally, they're like, hey, but do you mind making the guacamole? And I'm like, of course not,
uh,
I love cooking. And so I was like, that's not a big deal. But they literally had all the ingredients, like, here, can you put this together?
we saw this. These are the ingredients.
We
Yeah.
Googled it.
Yeah. Vancouver is a great city for eating though. I did have a lot of fresh seafood in Vancouver, mussels, fish of all kinds. Japanese food was
Oh,
always the best.
Japanese
All
food
the
is
oh
the
my,
shiznit out there. Hell yeah. That's what
I
we would
just have
always
so
go
much
eat
seafood.
eat noodles when we were in Victoria. We would go eat Japanese noodles all the time, like just udon.
Yeah, those this place is well, it's right by the ocean too. You can't
Hmm.
The seafood is great. It's cold water seafood. It's always the best. It makes me want to go back just to visit Vancouver because I did enjoy that place so much. I almost had a chance to go
Me
back again this
too.
year. Hmm.
I
Maybe we
like
could
that
drive over
place.
there when we have some time just to check it out
Drive,
and
I
see
would
like
just fly in. But
yeah, flying is it's like an hour and a half. It's not that long. It's not that
yeah,
long
it's
of a
just like
flight.
super quick. And the metro goes to the airport, so you can literally just hop on a train at the airport and
That's
get.
right. They have like a monorail.
Mm-hmm.
They have a monorail, which is kind of crazy. I thought that only existed at Disneyland when I was a kid. But you go to Vancouver and there's like
Seattle
a
has
monorail, right?
also,
Does
yeah, but
it?
Seattle, yeah, Seattle, you can literally just walk across the bridge and then you take the train
Mm, yeah. Well,
right
I haven't been
into
to
the
Seattle,
city.
but one day.
Well, I
All
guess
I
because
ever
I'm
want to do
always
when I go to
taking the
Seattle,
train.
yeah. All I ever want to go to Seattle for is to have coffee and to go to the fish market to see them toss the fishes around. And like I've always been fascinated by that. I mean, I know people are just like selling
Why?
fish
What
and
is so
because
fascinating about
fascinating
I literally
because as a kid in the Muppet, I want to come back to the Muppets. There's a Swedish chef, and he's got like a. There's this guy. He's got a fish. Anyway, I just thought that was really funny. I always connected it
Muppets
with
is that's a cartoon, right? Or what is
yeah.
Muppets?
It's a it's a kid show. I want to show you this the chef and there's this one character. He's got a fish and he swings it around and toss the fish like a boomerang, and it's pretty funny. So whenever I see people throw fish around, I was like, oh, that's in Seattle. They toss giant fish to each other, or the fishmongers. That's the way they. I don't know what they do, but they say that's the thing that like it's not like I'm sure you see it for like 5 minutes. You're like, what else is next? And then you just buy fish and go home. But it's just something
Okay.
to do. It's not like it's not like the top of the list, but it's just something to do. So there you go. So go to the fish
Okay.
market and watch people toss fish. I mean, do you have anything like that that you want to see that you're like, wow, that's kind of interesting? But once you see it, it's probably not that interesting or not that, it's just like, oh, it's just like something to see. But the act of just being there and watching it was kind of cool. Just the idea. You have nothing?
No, I mean tossing fish. That just sounds
Yeah, I mean,
weird.
I don't want to toss the fish. I just want to see the people toss the fish in the fish market, which is what they do, apparently. I mean, I'm sure we could find a
Right. I,
video.
I just I
I'm
guess
sure somebody
I'm
will just say,
missing the
"Why don't you just see
point.
the video?"
Yeah,
Exactly.
like I don't know.
I
Like,
mean, if you're
okay.
shopping for
I mean,
fish, I
I
guess
guess if
you
you're
have your
if
coffee. You're like, "Oh yeah, look at those guys throwing fish around," and you're like drinking coffee. Maybe that's the thing to do. I don't know.
I
It's
guess
just like
because
they
I
say,
was
go to
always at Fisherman's Wharf and like to me being around that it's so normal. Like I don't see it as a fascinating thing. You know what I mean? Like
Well, I mean, I've been around
So,
like a lot of fishermen. I don't see them tossing fish. You bring fish off the boat and then you sell it to the market, but like not like, throwing. Well, I mean, maybe they don't always do that. Maybe if like you buy a fish and then they ring a bell and they take your fish and toss it to another guy and the guy fillets it, he tosses it. I don't know. I'm imagining the craziest thing. I mean, I don't know why they would think that it's such a spectacle. Maybe it's not, but it's just like one of those things. Like I've been to San Francisco, but I'd never been to like, you know, they're all like, go to the Fisherman's Wharf and get like clam chowder at San Francisco.
oh
Everybody
my
says
God,
get
it's
that,
so
right?
good.
See, I haven't done it.
So
I passed
good.
through and I'm like, I didn't do
Why?
it, but it's something to do.
Why?
I don't know. I just like, I went through San Francisco, went to Chinatown. This is after coming from home from Napa. I did like a day in Napa and then like coming back, I was just like, I did a day in San Francisco. I did like, some dim sum. I drove around a little bit and then I took the 101 and I drove all the way home. I just wanted to drive home on the 101. And
Hmm.
it was just long, the long coastal drive. It's not really fast, but
Mhm.
it's a long scenic drive, which was scary to me because you're on the side of the cliff sometimes and then you're like, oh, this is so beautiful, but I don't want to fall off because you're driving. So if you're like by yourself, it could be a little scary. Maybe I'll do it again one day and I'll be a passenger or something. But even then, I probably freak out because I'm not in control, and then I'm going on the side of the cliff. You probably know this from me driving. Like it's just like cliffs, heights, and um, yeah, waves, rocks. Probably not a good combination if you're driving and not paying attention. But it's just one of those things you do. You know. Yeah, I didn't get the
Watch fish getting tossed back and forth. Got it.
right. Yeah, this is so. I mean, like people are probably saying you're crazy, but it's one of those things. I don't know what else. I mean, go to like if I went to Japan, I'd want to see like a auction for tuna and see how that goes, because
Mm,
that's
mhm.
always a spectacle. But
Yeah.
they're not tossing the tuna around. It's just like people bidding on tuna, and it could
Yeah.
go, to crazy amounts of money. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, does the restaurant that buys the best piece of tuna get like the all the press, and like this restaurant's got this $1 million piece of tuna, and so do you go there and then try to eat that? I mean, I don't know why it costs so much money, but one day we'll find out.
Yeah. So, yeah, there you go. Seattle.
Sorry folks,
Go see some tuna tossing.
if you want to see some
Not to
tuna
be
tossing,
some, not to be confused with salad tossing.
not to be confused with salad. Well, that's wrong, that's so wrong. I mean, have you ever gone to Ensenada
To get your salad tossed? What the fuck?
to get your salad tossed? Oh my stomach. No, the fish markets. They call it the what do they call the fish market in Ensenada? They call it like the underground fish market, the black market. Yeah, they do. They call it I forget what they call it. They call it the black market, but you're supposed to be able to get um smoked tuna, smoked marlin, smoked fishes. So there's certain places you can get that stuff at in Ensenada, and it's always really good. But they always say you got to be careful because you get like something that isn't tuna or something that isn't the right fish. So you got to be really careful.
You have to know your
You know,
fish.
yeah, you got to know your fish. But that's also good. I mean, that's not too bad. We like fish tacos. Go for the fish tacos. Go for the
Yo,
fish taco
oh my God,
experience.
I'm so hungry right now.
Yeah, I'm making like just talking about like
Yeah,
food,
I'm like,
fish. I'm making myself hungry too. I was like, oh
my mouth
man.
is salivating. Fucking,
I'm like, when was lunch? Is it dinner time? Should I
it
cook a
is
fish?
dinner.
Yeah.
But I really want that goddamn pizza thing that I bought. And
Hey,
it's
it's
frozen.
garlic. It's like a
It's garlic
well,
shrimp.
wow, so you can't really do you have to let it set outside and then before you put it in an oven, or how do you heat it?
You know, I'll read the instructions in the back of the box.
Yeah, because shrimp would be overcooked if you let it for too long.
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
think about
pretty
it.
sure it's the kind of thing that you just pop it in and then it just cooks immediately.
It's like perfect. Oh, this is just a
Perfect.
10-minute thing.
Oh
It
my
just comes out perfect.
God. Now that I'm seriously just staring at the map and just going around all that little islands and I'm like, yeah, I remember going there and I remember this and I remember this little town and I remember that town and it's just like I used to be driving like the small boats around here like
Mm. Did it have like a steering wheel, or did it have a till? You know, the
a
you drove
steering
it in the
wheel.
back. Mm, that's nice. That's
Mhm.
nice.
Yeah, but I'm literally
One day
just
we'll go
looking
on
at
a
all
boat
the
adventure.
little stops that we used to do for like, to take people on tours and stuff. So I'm just like, oh, I'm just looking at photos, like, oh yeah, I remember we used to go there, we used to go here, we used to hang out at this beach, we used to take people on a hike over here. I'm just like literally going through the map,
Wow.
just like,
We
yeah.
should do a little tour of Alaska through your photos. Speaking of art and stuff
Oh
like that, that
yeah,
would be
that's
something we
right.
can actually
Oh my
put
God, you
together
know
for
what? Then
everybody.
maybe we can do like a little, yeah,
We'll
I
have to
don't
put
know
it
how,
together. So I
yeah.
don't. I mean, you know what would be kind of cool is like this might not happen very soon, but if we pull this off, we could do like a picture kind of podcast with inserts of things as we go along,
Yeah,
and
that's
then we can talk
exactly what I
about
was
it.
thinking about.
Oh, it's
Like
like a little
kind
photo.
of
It's like a
like,
little tour guide, Lala's tour guide.
yeah, traveling
Oh,
Lala. Follow traveling Lala.
yeah. See, we're cross pollinating here, folks. All right, folks. Well, I guess that wraps it up for this show. And hopefully you will follow us on whathappened.com and on Spotify. And hopefully if you have any questions, comments, or story ideas or anything you want us to talk about, Lala, take it over. Just drop us a line and we'll get back to you, right?
Yes. Drop us a line at stories@whathappened.com. And like I said,
And
we're still trying to think of good like how to come up with better content for you folks. So I mean, we're still, there's nothing set in concrete. I mean, if you guys have ideas or if you guys think we suck, we should just scrap the
that's
whole
okay too.
thing. Yeah,
That's
like,
okay too. I mean, I
everybody's
can't
got their
imagine how
opinions.
some of these folks have like they're like 300 shows in, and we're just on number like 18 right now. And
Yeah.
so, it's I don't know. We'll see. We'll see you in show 300, and then we could talk about, we could say, well, remember we talked about that one. But we'll see
Right?
how we do, folks. I mean, we might be in the studio, we might be at a different time. Who knows? We might be in Seattle, we might be on another planet. I don't know. But on that note, we'll
Thank you for
see you
listening to
next time.
us
Yeah.
and check us
This is
out.
Richmo,
And this is Lala
and we'll talk to
signing
you
out.
then. Bye bye.
To follow us, you can go to whathappened.com for a link to all of our social media and to read our bios.
If you would like us to read your story,
May it be funny or scary or just some hot cheese mix.
please email us at stories@whathappened.com.